Hey guys, it's Alicia. Today I am going to be making a slow cooker carrot cake that I found on the WW website. This looked really interesting. I love carrot cake. I love using my slow cooker. So I figured I wanted to try this out and I thought I'd just take you guys with me. Now I am going to be making some changes to the WW recipe that they have. So the recipe link that I'm going to be linking down below is going to be reflective of those changes that I've made to it. So just wanted to point that out. I actually wanted to make this last year. I never got around to it, but I thought it'd be fun to make for Easter. And since Easter is coming up, that is why I'm making it now. Because carrot cake and Easter, in my opinion, just go together. So like I said, I thought I'd try this out, take you guys with me and see what I think of it. So let me jump into the ingredients real quick. First off, I've got 1.5 cups all-purpose flour. And here I've got a teaspoon baking soda, teaspoon baking powder, teaspoon cinnamon, a pinch of ground cloves, or a 1/16 of a teaspoon is what a pinch is, and then a 1/4 teaspoon salt. I've also got a little salt that I'm going to be using for my frosting on this. I think that calls for a pinch as well, so that's why I've got that out there. Back here, I've got 2 cups of grated carrots. I went ahead and used my food processor that I really don't like using because I have to clean it afterwards and it's kind of a pain, but I didn't want to grate 2 cups of carrots. So that's 2 cups freshly grated carrots. And then also in here, and this is one of my changes, I'm adding a cup of fresh pineapple just because I like pineapple in my carrot cake. Here I've got 3/4 cup packed Truvia Sweet Complete. It's their brown sugar, their calorie-free brown sugar. And then here I've got 2 large eggs. Here is a 15-ounce can of pure pumpkin, not the pumpkin pie filling, just the plain old pumpkin. And then for the cream cheese frosting that's on this, you're gonna be needing just a little bit of Greek yogurt. I believe it's only like a tablespoon. You're gonna need 4 tablespoons of low-fat cream cheese. This is a third less fat cream cheese. You're gonna need a 1/2 teaspoon vanilla extract. And then for sweetener, I'm gonna go ahead and use this Swerve again. I'm getting better with using this. The recipe calls for, I think it's 3/4 cup regular confectioner sugar. I'm gonna have to kind of play around with this to see how much I'm gonna end up using, but it's not gonna be anywhere near the 3/4 cup, because as I always say, this stuff in my opinion is considerably more sweet than confectioner's sugar, even though it's supposed to measure cup per cup. It definitely doesn't. I'll be using some of this. I'm not sure exactly how much, but we'll kind of figure that out as we go. But that is everything that I'm going to be putting in this. Let's get this started. And I almost forgot to mention my 1/4 cup chopped pecans. These are going to be for the top of the cake. In a medium bowl here, I'm gonna take my flour, add that in, as well as my baking powder, baking soda, cinnamon, cloves, and salt. And I'm gonna just whisk all that together really well. All right, I'm gonna set that aside. And in a large bowl, I'm gonna take my brown sugar and my 2 large eggs, and I'm gonna whisk those together really well. And now I'm gonna add in my pumpkin and whisk that in. And now to that, I'm gonna pour in my flour mixture and stir that all together. And now I'm going to fold in my carrots and pineapple. Like that. And now we're going to take this over to the crock pot. Okay, I'm here at my crock pot, and what the recipe has you do is take a couple pieces of foil. So I've got my foil over here, and you're supposed to cut a sheet of it. Got a sheet here. I'm going to fold that in half. Then you're supposed to lay it in your crock pot. And here's how I ended up doing mine. The recipe says to have 4 inches of overhang on each side with that foil. so that you can grab it and pull it out. But as deep as my crock pot is and as little batter as there is, I figured I did not need 4 inches because I can grab with what I've got there. So I just did mine like that, but just kind of disclaimer, that's not how they tell you to do it, but it worked absolutely fine. There's that. And then next you're supposed to take a crock pot liner, which I've got here, and put that in. I should say this is the first time I've ever done an actual cake like this in the crock pot. And honestly, you're not really saving yourself any time, as you can probably tell by now. But it's more, I think, kind of just the concept is kind of cool to do it in your crock pot. And I've seen other people do cakes in crock pots, so it's kind of something I've wanted to try. Plus, I know this is gonna smell amazing when it's cooking, so it's gonna make my house smell really good for the 2.5 to 3.5 hours that it's cooking in here. Okay, so I've got my liner pressed in there. Now I'm gonna take a little cooking spray and spray it with that. And then I'm going to pour in my batter. Okay, I've got my batter in here. I'm gonna kind of just smooth it out a little bit. And now I'm going to put my lid on. And I'm gonna set this to high and cook it for 2.5 to 3.5 hours, it says, or until a toothpick inserted in the center comes out clean. So I'll be back once this is done. Okay, this has been cooking for 2.5 hours. I stuck a toothpick in it, came out clean. So now I'm gonna remove this from the crock pot by using my little foil handles here. And then I'm gonna set it over here on this cooling rack. It says to cool it in the bag still for about an hour or until it's completely cool. So I'll go ahead and take this out and do that. I also wanted to let you guys know that my crock pot is a 7-quart crock pot. The recipe doesn't say anything about size of crock pot for cook time, but mine is 7 quart, so that's probably why it only took the 2.5 hours. Because the cake is not gonna be as thick as it would be in a smaller crock pot. All right, so here I've got it out. And these were definitely long enough to get them out of there, or get it out of there. So now, like I said, I'm gonna just let this cool still in the bag for about an hour or so. For the frosting, I'm gonna take my cream cheese that is at room temperature and add that into my mixer. And I'm also gonna add a tablespoon of that fat-free Greek yogurt, a ½ teaspoon vanilla extract, and a pinch or a 1/16 of a teaspoon of salt. And then it says to mix this on medium high until smooth for about 2 to 4 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Got that all mixed together. So now I'm gonna take a 1/4 cup, again, of this Swerve. That's about all I have left. Actually, I have a little more, but I'm gonna put a 1/4 cup in. The recipe calls for 3/4 cup confectioners. But as I said before, this Swerve is considerably sweeter than confectioner, so I'm hoping that's gonna work there, that amount. So it says to slowly beat that in for about 4 to 6 minutes. And then it says after that to increase the speed to medium high and beat until frosting is light and fluffy, another 2 to 4 minutes. So I'm gonna just get this started and then I'll be back once this is looking good. Okay, I've got this done, tasted it, tastes pretty good. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the cake. Got my cake cooled. I went ahead and flipped it over onto this cutting board here, and it's kind of funny, but it looks sort of like an Easter egg shape. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and frost this now. And I'm gonna add my pecans to the top. And there we go. It is ready to be cut up. Okay, I was gonna cut a piece of this out and put it on a plate, but we're gonna just cut into it with a knife here. A serving size is supposed to be a 1/12, which is always kind of tricky when you're dealing with the crock pot and this shape. You could weigh it out and all that, but I usually just eyeball stuff.
And how many points?
3 points.
I mean,
Even if
that, just that would be
so, let's.
pretty good.
It's very, very, very dense.
Carrot cake is, isn't it?
Well, that's like super dense. Interesting looking. Very interesting looking. Give it a taste and see what you think. You don't really like carrot cake. I should have said that before you tasted.
So it's got a pretty good flavor.
Mm-hmm. It's very, very dense. Wow.
The frosting is, topping's really good.
Even with the Swerve?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're getting that down to where if you don't use a whole lot, it does taste pretty good.
So the texture, as you can see,
it's very, I mean, I don't even know how to explain that. Is that, I guess that's from being cooked in the crock pot?
yeah. So it's not, I mean, obviously it's not fluffy like a
Cake.
traditional cake.
It's almost like a fruit cake or something, wouldn't you say? Even more so dense?
Or like a really thick pudding or something.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
So, actually, has a pretty good carrot cake flavor.
Okay.
You know, a little different.
Different.
It's just the texture.
I got
It's so odd.
This is clean, right? Let me try a bite. Say hi, Rocky. We're just growling at something out there.
Yeah, I like
Get a little
that.
frosting. See, now I'm surprised he likes that because he does not like carrot cake. That's
How many points again?
3 points for a 12th.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very I need to try another bite. Interesting texture. That was not what I was expecting. Texture.
Very satisfying.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah. It's different.
Definitely different. So, I guess don't expect traditional
No.
carrot cake at all.
No.
But very good flavor. And I didn't tell you there's pumpkin in this. Now I'm choking on a
Yes.
pecan. So that alone is gonna make this a little different.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, it's almost like a carrot cake bar,
Yeah.
not a cake.
Well, I'm glad I tried that. It's very, I mean, I like it. Have another bite. But yeah, definitely different, but not bad. So before I take this last bite, again, that is slow cooker carrot cake. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you as always for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.